Alright, y'all, so a serious question. What should so-called black indigenous peoples call themselves? A lot of us right now are waking up, and I think this is some shit from the ancestors. This ain't got nothing to do with anybody individualistically. This is just the time for us to be understanding who we are. But what comes with that is also situating ourselves in a proper orientation. And for the past few centuries, we have been identifying with exonyms, or names that have been applied to us. We all know that black is a spell. When you spit something out, you go blach. So no, it also means evil, wicked, legally dead, no nationality, yada 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 yada. So anything with black, no. Indian. Well, historically the term Indian was applied to subjects of the Spanish crown without citizenship. And when the United States formed, the term essentially meant the same thing as the Spanish term, but it also was used kind of like you were a ward of the state, which essentially meant you didn't have the ability to manage your own affairs. So being an Indian means you have no sovereignty. It also means you can get deported at any time. You get into tribal enrollment and blood quantum and being federally recognized and all that bullshit, which we now know in its conception was fraudulent from the beginning. The whole Bureau of Indian Affairs was under the War Department. It was a very corrupt system. So I would throw away Native American, I would throw away Indian, I would throw away Negro, black, colored, and also I would throw away FBA. Because the whole FBA shit, it's essentially neo-Pan-Africanism. Some FBAs understand the indigenous aspect to us, but most don't, and they don't care. They're still happy with the term black, and their version of history is just not complete. Let's talk about Moors and Moors and all of that. And let me just say this, there's a lot of people way smarter than me that's done way more research than me and all of that say Moors what everybody should be under right now. And they'll point to 3 or 4 little pieces of information that say everybody used to be Moors before Indians. But look, that argument just don't convince me. I just never really felt comfortable calling myself a Moor. I don't know why, that might just be a spiritual thing. But if that floats your boat, hey, so be it. I don't really believe in prophets and all of that with the Noble Drew Ali stuff. I don't really get into all of that. I don't. If you're from the Southeast, should you call yourself a Creek? That wasn't a name that people called themselves. Muskogee? Name didn't appear until 1740. Should you go by your specific tribe? I want to say that makes the most sense. Because when we broke away from the mother civilization in Mesoamerica, tribal affiliation was everything. And only then, after we all got situated, did we become a nation. But hey, I don't know. What do you think? Comment below.